see. Since we talk about the differentiation of the two techniques, I assume that if you have a good conducting of the two techniques, then you have good data. So how can we define a proper process, or what kind of thing that we need to pay attention in order to conduct a good in-depth interview or survey?
No, in general, it's not easy question to answer. Normally, for survey and for in-depth interview, normally we have to take one chapter for it, right?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's so hard because it requires a lot of different skill, right? But here, for this section, I just mentioned the 4 key things that you need to remember. The first thing is that you need to select the right technique, data collection technique for your question.
Yes.
The second is that you need to select the right respondent.
Yes.
The third one is that you need to select the right question to ask.
Yes.
And the last one is that you need to select the right approach for each technique.
Okay, so I assume that we will go one by one. So what is the right technique for the questions? How can we select the right technique for the question?
So today we are talking about 2 techniques only, right? In-depth interview and survey. So what do you think? When we use in-depth interview for?
I think it's back to the differentiation of the 2 techniques, and also by nature of the information that you want to find out. The first one is the in-depth interview. It's more into understanding thoroughly an issue or explore an issue with a lot of facets or layers.
And deep down inside.
Yes.
Right?
And the second one is survey. I guess that for survey we more want to know how large is the one of the component in the thing that we want to find out, or we want to make generalization.
That's right, exactly. So one thing for in-depth interview, remember, to explore new things and deep down inside. And for survey, we want to confirm in large number, and we want to have a good generalization level.
So we already covered the first point. How about the selecting the right respondent?
Oh, it's very important, right? For example, if you want to ask about a question like, how to buy fish sauce in Vietnam. So if you ask me, then I probably don't know, right? You should ask a housewife, my mom, for example, who all the time go to the supermarket and find fish shop, right?
Yes.
So selecting the right person, right, who have the knowledge and experience about the topic that we are discussing is very, very important. So it's not only about the number of people that we are asking the question. It's about who we ask the question, whether they have a knowledge, experience, and one last thing, very important thing, whether they have a motivation to answer the question. Because sometimes, I give you the gift and say, okay, please answer my question.
So the thing that you talk about is that actually they are driven by the gift.
That's right.
Or they are motivated by something that's not related to the problem.
That's right. So you need to give them the right motivation. For example, you're saying that we are the researcher. We want to know about how you use the software, for example, in order to improve it. See?
Yes.
Then please answer. If you are not comfortable with answer the question, so please don't.
I think that that's so important that we have to pay attention to how we qualify the respondent.
That's right.
I hope that this some of the notes that can help you for that. But to dig deeper into that, of course, you have to research more about how to recruit the right respondent. But when we have the right technique, when we have the right respondent, how can we ask the right questions?
The right question. Sometimes, asking the question is very, very hard, even though we do it every day.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you want to ask the respondent whether you want to buy it or not, so just ask, are you willing to buy it? Don't ask, do you like it? See the point? Sometimes you can ask, blah, blah question, but not straight to the point. If you want to ask about whether they want to buy it, ask, do you buy it? Don't ask, do you like it?
Straightforward.
Straightforward question. Go to the point.
I see.
Now, but I give you more question. Asking a good question can increase your reliability and validity of your information collected. For example, I asking you, do you like Bách University? And I give you two options for your answer, yes and no. Right? That's the first option. How you feel about that question?
I think it's so because I can choose yes or I can choose no.
Yes. Sometimes you say yes and sometimes you say no. For those who love Bách University like me, so I probably say yes. But for those in the in the middle, so sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. Right? So I can improve the question. Do you like Bách University? And I give you a interval from 1 to 10. Scale from 1 to 10. 1 is totally not, and 10 is totally yes. How you feel about question now?
I think now it's more clear to me where I can choose to answer. Let's say if I like Bách University around like 8, then you can and you can know that there's some part of that I don't like.
Very good. Now, can we improve that question also further?
I think you can break it into, let's say, more details, like because I assume that you do a little bit of research for in-depth interview, so then you may know that in Bách there's a lot of components. Let's say the lectures, the room, the facility, the library, and then each of that we can have a scale, and then you can see that which one I like.
Excellent point.
Yes.
Now, Bách University is a very big concept. You can break it down into smaller pieces. Like for example, you ask them, do you like the campus? And 1 to 10. Do you like the student? Do you like the professor? Do you like the library? Do you like the lab? Do you like the environment? See the point?
Yes.
So Bách concept now broken into several pieces, right? And then the more questions you ask about one concept, the better information you can collect from it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's easier for the respondent to answer the question.
It's also easier for you to understand, like for the researcher to understand like which part can be improved more than which part.
Exactly.
Yes.
But is there any shortcoming from asking a lot of questions like that?
I think I will be bored.
That's right.
I will be bored a lot.
Because now, if you ask such a simple question like do you like Bách and then yes and no, so you have a very quick answer.
Yes.
Even though the reliability is lower, but you have a quick answer. And respondent don't have to spend a lot of time. But if you want to break it down into 20 small questions, right? Then you need to know how to ensure the quality of the process of asking the question, right? So my advice is that you don't break into very small pieces for every single concept. You just do it with important concept within the interview or the survey, right?
Okay, so I think that for let's say gathering customer feedback, we will choose some of the, let's say, concept or the component that's very important when we ask or we survey in details. Other part like less prioritized than the part we don't need to break it down into so many levels. Since you're talking about, let's say, breaking the survey or in-depth interview, we have to do face-to-face survey. I guess that I can see a lot of people approach me asking me to fill the paper. I feel sometimes it's a little bit annoying. But if someone send me an email, I don't bother to do it anyway. So is there any advice on the approach to deliver those kind of
yes,
research?
That's the last thing that we mentioned. You have to select the right approach. So technically, if you show the approach, you have a face-to-face, you have the online, you have an email, you have a mail questionnaire, or you even can interview by phone. So it depends on you. And I'm telling you that there's no perfect way to do things. It depends on your budget. It depends on the type of question and the length of question that you ask, right? And also depend on the culture. For Vietnamese people, for example, if you use like impersonal way, like mail or email or something, they might ignore it. And the response rate is very low. But if you use face-to-face, it's might be better, but the cost involved is high. So it's your job is to select the right way to target, you know, your respondent.
But is there any other technique that, you know, researcher, like professional?
Oh, you mean in addition to
in-depth interview and survey?
Yes, we have a lot. We can use observation, we can use focus group, and we also can do the content analysis or something. There's a lot of different techniques.
I see that. I think that we will cover in other part of the lecture, because this topic is mainly about how can you get the feedback of customer for the product owner based on customer in-depth interview and survey. But before we close the lecture, I noticed that you mentioned reliability and validity in the data collection process. So what is the two concepts?
So reliability is the ability of a question to provide the same result after many testing. After many times you ask the question, if I keep asking you, do you like it? Do you like it? You answer the same thing, right? If you have your level of English is like, you know, 6.5 IL test, then every time you take the test, it should be around 6.5. That is reliability, right? So now you see that if you ask the question like yes and no, so the reliability might be, you know, low. But if you give them 1 to 10, right? So the probability of the answer 7 every time is higher.
Because they can express what they want.
Yes, right? And then the second question is about validity. Validity is a ability of a question to let's say of a question to really ask what it's supposed to ask. What it mean? When you say, do you like Backward? So I say yes, but maybe I think about Backward campus. I ask you, do you like Backward? You say yes, but maybe you're talking about you like
library.
professor.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So even though the same question might measure or capture different meaning. See? So when I break the question into smaller concept, like I say, okay, Backward means professor, student, library, lab, environment, student, right? Then the validity, the ability of a question to really ask what is supposed to ask is improved.
Understand. Okay, I think that we have quite a heavy lectures for the audience. I think that to prepare for the next section in class and discussion, let's have two questions to, you know, food for thought. The first question is like, do you consider our discussion here, the topic is survey and interview for customer feedback and product owner, as an in-depth interview, so that I can find out the information for you? The second question is like, between survey and in-depth interview, which one have higher validity and which one have higher reliability?
Good.
So let's see in our discussion.
Okay, see you next time.